Yeah, so in our previous session, we talked all the way to we answered some of these questions order by. We talked about how to order things in descending order. Like this is what we did towards the end of the class. We talked about a lot of things. If you actually go back and check, we actually did cover lots of ground, but we stopped around order by. And although this came a bit late, we still I don't know if we're able to attempt the questions, sorting things by descending order, sorting things by ascending order. I don't know if we're able to attempt the questions, but what I'm going to do about that is uh, if anybody can share their screen about their query answers, or I don't know, did we find it difficult? Let's just know if the questions were difficult from our end. I want to know if we found them attempting them. If we did, if we found them difficult, I want to know. I think it's quite something that we are kind of familiar with because I didn't overspin the question and trying to make it overly difficult. But yes, I want to know how it went for us. Where we had go for you, were you able to? Okay, I think Papa Charlie told me that you guys were trying to figure out one or two things. One or two things. So what we're going to do is, if we can come back to this question, we can. If we can, we will. But let me just answer one. So let me answer number 17. I don't know if you can see my screen. Number 17 says that we should find the top five movies with the highest rental rate. So yes, number 17 is a good one for me to choose to answer in this class. Because like now this is you're saying top five with the okay, top five movies the highest rental rate. So this brings the limits into play, which we'll talk about. But let's still look at it regardless. So I'm just going to copy and paste this into my PD admin so that we can see the questions. Okay, admit. Yeah, so we can see the questions and you can answer it. So show the top five movies with the highest rental rates sorted uh by rental rates in descending order. So that's question number 17. That's question number 17. So how are we going to attempt it? I'm going to decide to attempt this using the what's it called? A customer table. Actually, the customer table. I think looking using the let's look at this again. Find the highest rental rates. This thing. So let's just write. Let me just type this. So select. I think it's film, but let's confirm. Select all from film, right? We have rental rate in film. Rental rate. Okay, we have rental rate in film. So we want to see top five movies with the highest rental rate. So basically, we want film, we want title, and we want rental rate. Yeah, basically, we want title and want rental rate alongside with it, and sorted by rental rate in the same order. Okay, that'll be very easy. So let's edit this to
I can't hear you, Sal.
okay. Sorry. Apologies. My this was muted. Thank you for pointing it out. So yes, I was saying that we want to find the top five movies with the highest rental rates, sorted by the rental rate in descending order. I hope that question is not a tongue twister or doesn't look too complicated for us. But what we can know, first of all, let's break it down. We're interested in the movies. And we know when we're looking at the film table, the movies in quotes are the title. The title is basically the movies that are referring to in our data, right? And we're seeing rental rate with the highest rental rate. That means, okay, we're not just interested in the title column, we are also interested in the rental rate column, right? And we've scrolled all the way to the right to just look at how the rental rate is written in our data, rental underscore rate, rental underscore rate. So let's answer this. So we're basically interested in the title first. So I'll just copy this. And after I copy this, I am going to, what's the word? I'm going to paste it and edit it. So select what title, that's movies, right? Title, comma. We're also interested in rental, that's rental underscore rates, right? We can see it all the way here, rental underscore rates. Want the rental rate from film, but we're not done. Remember, we said we want to sort by rental rates. So we're sorting by what? That's order by, if you remember. When we talk about sort, we're talking about the order, sort the order of items in that we have in maybe in a bucket or in something. In our case, is order of items we have in the rental rates, like the values basically. So we want to sort by rental rates. Rental rates is a numeric. Basically, this is something with decimal points. So we're sorting or we are ordering by, it was specified in the question, sorted by rental rates. So we're ordering by the rental rate column. So by rental underscore rates. Are we done? We're not done. So this. So this is what we'll do normally. And we're almost, we have done this, we're almost there. So we're seeing the movies, we're seeing the rental rates. Very interesting. So we can scroll down, we can scroll down, we can scroll down. So from the highest to the lowest, that's the descending order. Ascending order is the lowest to the highest. But we're not done yet. So this question actually takes up all the scope of what we've done and brings us something a bit new, which is the limit. And what does the limit do? Or what is the limit in the first place? So in Postgres or in pgadmin, yeah, when you want to get the top 5 of something, you say limit 5. If I want to get the top 10 of something, I say limit 10. And if you remember, so let me write it down first. Limit 5 in this case. If you remember in our previous class, I don't know if you remember, we talked about the order of operations. The select, from, that's the S, that's select, from. So I just want to remind us that we need to where. So in our case, then is G, then is H, then is O, then is L. So GHOL, go, or go, anyhow you want to say it. So group by having, order by limits. In our case, we're not using group by or having. So let's remove that. So we'll talk about group by and having eventually, but like order by comes before the limits. So this limits basically was like, oh, you want to just see the top things, the top 5 things. For example, like I want to limit this to just 5. If I say limit 5, I just want to limit things by 5. In our situation now, yeah, normally, of course, the limit is, well, we want to just the first 5 things usually. But in our situation, we have said, okay, by rental rate this. So it's going to bring us the top 5 in the same order. So let's run it and figure it out. So you can see the top 5 things in descending order. The top 5 things in descending order. So if we change this syntax, for example, we say, oh, we don't want to, let's see how it works. If I say, okay, give me in ascending order. So change it to ascending. We change to ascending. Change to ascending. Let's see whether there's a difference. So ASC instead of DSC. ASC limit 5. So how is it going to show us? So this is basically the top or the first 5 things in descending order. So So it's like bottom five. So the first one will be top five. So this is the answer to the question that we asked. So this is top five, and this is basically this second one that we did. That we changed it from yeah, this is bottom five, bottom five. So why I say it's bottom five or why I say it's top five, what do I mean? So top five obviously is going to be like the higher. When you say top things, it's the highest things. So in terms of number now, numeric things in numeric format, like we have here, the rental rates. If I say I want to see the top five rental rates, normally in any kind of normal conversation, this is not SQL conversation now. Oh, what are the top countries with the highest GDP? Or what are the top countries or top footballers according to something something? I mean, I even say according to anything, but top footballers, you start telling me, oh, this person has done this, he has scored this goal, he has scored this amount, and don't know much about the world of football. But like usually when you say top things in real life, it means the highest things. So when I say top five, of course, it's going to be top five in descending order. That will make the most sense, like in normal conversation. So when I say bottom five, of course, it's going to be the lowest things, but like the lowest now, and this bottom five is basically the lowest things, but like the top, well, I say top, but like the bottom, like the how would I explain it? Can anybody help me here? So the opposite of the top five, basically. So the things that are the lowest, so or if I say 1 to 10 now, okay, show me the bottom five numbers 1 to 10. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't forget the bottom five now, the number one bottom five in quotes from 1 to 10. It will be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So it's just words, play on of words, but we need to really understand the syntax of what's actually going on. And I really do hope you're understanding. You are free to ask questions if you don't get the concept. But yes, this is how I'm going to answer the question. Not this one, not the second one, the one that I see top five, because it said sorted by rental rates in descending order. Sorted by rental rates in descending order. I don't know if we are clear. So I think number 18 will be very easy for us to solve. I think number 19 will also be easy for us to solve. We can try that out. I mean, it's supposed to be an assignment. So I think also number 20. So I think this number 20 now is going to almost be like number 16. If you remember when we sorted by first name and last name and did something like that. So this is now like basically sorting by two items. It's going to be almost the same thing. So thank you very much. We are going to move on to the next sections of our class. So what are we talking about this time? Or what are we going to be talking about? Still in SQL. We're not going anywhere. We're not running. We're not trying to be faster than our shadows. We are going to be talking about aggregate functions. And where are these aggregate functions going to be? The aggregate functions are going to be in the select statement. In the select statement. So first of all, what do I mean by aggregate function? So if you go back to Excel, yeah, you remember we have different type of functions. Of course, we have the inbuilt functions. Even in talking about Python, inbuilt functions. By inbuilt functions, I mean the normal sum, the normal average. So if this were Excel, um, equals to sum, equals to average, you know how you write it. So let's remove the equal to, but let's talk about the sum. Let's talk about the average. So sum, right? This is how you write it. Sum, average. If you remember Excel, we have the, what's it called? The main. Can just tell me any what's it called? Any aggregate function, the main, the max. So we have the count, if you remember. So there's in Excel, there's count and there's count A. So count A, count all, but we don't have count A in what's it called in SQL though. But it's just very similar. The concept of aggregate function is very similar to what we already know, in the sense that like, what do I mean by aggregate? Let's break it down a little bit more. What do I mean by aggregate? So basically, if I said I wanted to get the sum of the rental rates, what's that sum function going to do for us? The sum function is going to loop through or move through the rental rate column. Like going to move through all the rows in the rental rate column, and it's going to like add them together to give me one output. So basically, from a column with multiple rows, I get just one row, like an answer, just a basic answer. I just get one answer. Like multiple rows are being brought together, so give me one output. So we can play around it, and for example, for the sum, and just test it out before we even go to the normal questions that we have here for the sum, for example. And the thing about these aggregate functions in SQL, we work with aggregate functions in the select statement. So aggregate functions in the select. So for example, very easy example, very straightforward example. I said, okay, I want to get I want to know the, let's say the sum, or let's say the average. Let's say average, it makes more sense. But some average, anyone doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's a random question. So okay, from the film table, right? We have so many things going on, but what is the average rental rate? What's the average rental rate? I want to know it. How will I do that? Okay, how are we going to answer the question? Very simple question. Find the average rental rate from the film table. So this is a very easy question. I want us to see how we are going to answer this. So find the average rental rate. Straightforward question from the film table. So this is not a question that will make us run helter skelter. It's not a question that should make us overly confused. It's a question that should bring us joy because it's quite simple and fun. So what am I going to do? Select. Select what? Normally, if I want to just get the rental rate column, I will say select rental underscore rates. And I'm not done. I will say from film.
Normally, you waka go play.
If I want to get the rental rates, I just want to see all the rental rates. Of course, you can see showing all the rental rates. I can scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There's a lot of things going on, right? But now I want to get the average rental rate. So one thing to note, like in terms of similarity with Excel. So you can see it's very similar with Excel in terms of like when I want to do sum in Excel, for example, I will say equals to sum. I put whatever I want to sum together, whether it's a range, whether it's like an array or anything. I'll put it within this bracket. So the syntax follows it almost the same thing. Like you put the function you want to run, and you open and close the bracket. And that open and close bracket is where you are going to put whatever thing, like whatever range or whatever item you want to apply the function to. So it's very similar. What do I mean? So this sum, or did I say average? But let's do sum. Okay, let's do the average. Let's do the average. This average now, basically, we're going to say, okay, let's get the average, right? If it's Excel, let's get the average of something. And like the thing we're going to get the average of is going to be inside the bracket. So it's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. So I really want us to see how it's what's the word? How we go about it. I really want to see how we go about it. How we go about it in SQL. Let's not confuse us. It's not AV. It's not average as per average. It's AVG. But I think Excel is average. AVERAGE. So yes. So I would say I want to get the AVG. I want to get the average rental rate, for example. So I don't want to just get the rental rate outputted like that. I want to see the average rental rate, the average rental rate. And literally, if I run this, we get an answer. So the average rental rate now, not the sum, not the min, not the max, of course, which you can do, I think we should also do to just give us some context. This is what we get. So we also have but before you even go on, like this is a very cool answer, but I don't know if you can notice something that's going on. So what's going on here is that we have the answer, But let's make it better. Make results better. What do I mean? What am I talking about in this kind of situation by make result better? So this result, we are seeing some unnecessary decimal points. I mean, usually when working with decimal points, like in any kind of thing, let's say highest, let's say it'll be a whole number and there'll be 2 or 3 decimal points after the whole number highest. Yes, in real life, or even when you're working in Excel and everything. So in our situation now, this is showing us about if we don't look at it well, I think this is 2 trillion or something because we're seeing decimal points and decimal point 2.9. I have to strain my eyes. 2.9800000. That doesn't make sense, right? I think we'll all agree that this having our results look like this is not the best looking in terms of aesthetic, in terms of like normal ways outputs are supposed to be looking like this looks like an unserious result. So what we are going to do is that we are going to work our way around this. We are going to make our output better. I mean, to get the average, literally, you just say have AVG and you put, like you can see within the brackets, what you want to apply the function to. So that's also the sum, that's also the main, that's also the max, that's also the count. It's basically similar to Excel. So the thing about data analysis, and especially like when you are learning data analysis, starting from something like Excel, it builds up. Although things might not be the same in terms of like in other data analysis tools, like one-to-one, when you compare them, like it's not going to be a one-to-one comparison, like, oh, what you see directly in Excel is not what you're going to see directly in Power BI, for example, or let's say in SQL. But the thing is that it builds up your foundation, and there's a lot of things related if you actually check things. This is already some literally the only difference between this sum function in SQL and the sum function in Excel is that remove the equal to. Basically, the only difference between the sum function in it was different between the sum function, like how it looks at in SQL and the sum function in Python. There's no difference. There's no difference. It's literally sum, put your brackets open, put your bracket closed, put whatever you want to do. So like everything is intertwined, everything is connected, and everything builds up. It's like a full circle, like the circle of life, let's say in quotes. Yes, so let's go back to where we are. We want to make the result better, aka we want to round up. So the best thing for us to do in this kind of situation is to round up our results, round up results. I don't know if you can hear me. To two decimal place. Let's go 2 decimal places. I think 2 decimal places will fit or will be the best solution to this atrocity that we can see here. So let us try to round things up to the 2 decimal places. Let's make the result a bit more polished, a bit more better to the eye, and a bit more mathematically better. Like now, if I just make it to the decimal place 2.98, that's way better than 2.90. You get the idea. So let's do that. And how are we going to use that? Or how are we going to make that happen? We will use the round. So I don't know if we know of the round function in Excel. The round function also appears in Excel. We use the round function. So what do I mean? What am I talking about? So basically, we are going to wrap up this. So is it still the same average we're looking at? We're not moving far from this. We're not doing anything super like crazy to this. We are just going to apply the round function to the average of the rental rate. We're going to apply a round function to this. And how are we going to do this? So let me just show you and let me explain it from there. So basically, for the result I get, which is the average rental rate, I want to round it up, right? That's what we want to do. We want to round it up to 2 decimal places. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this within a round function. I'll say round, then whatever I want to round, comma. So round, whatever I want to round, comma. Then I would say, okay, how many decimal places? 2. If I run this now, we should have 2 decimal places. Okay, let me show you one more example. This looks a bit confusing, right? So, but what you need to know that this what we have here is basically this, but we just rounded up whatever we wanted to output. So round, put whatever you want to round, then you put the decimal place. So let's try this. Say select. Let me try to round something up differently. So I'm just going to round up a random text. Let's see if it works. So let's see 2.9, 3.999. I say round to the decimal place. You can see what happens. Of course, the way it is and everything is showing a multiple something. But yeah, I'm rounding up just this because instead, why this is for the sake of not confusing us, why this is showing us multiple columns with just one thing is because this is basically a select statement, and statements talks about what's it called? Basically you are referencing columns, and since I just put one value, assume there's a column with one value, which is this, for example. For example. So this is a fictitious stuff, but you can see the outputs, all of them in the column 3.99, 3.99, 3.99. So you rounded it up, and it also like rounded it up like so 3.98899. You can see it's not became 3.99. So this is another example, but not the best example or beats. But yeah, I hope we're able to see. Well, let me give us one more example again. Let's say select all. Let's say select all, right? From film. Let me go back to my select all statements. Select all from film. So let's get the sum of something. We said we wanted to get the sum also. Let's get a sum of the ratings. No, the replacement cost. So we want to see the total replacement cost, basically. Sum of replacement cost. Let's see if it will give us something that makes sense. Sum of the replacements. But I don't know if I'm the only one in class. I really want to know if there's any questions or any concern replacement cost. So let's get this out. So this is basically going to be the same thing. Select all. So before I say select all, select replacement cost from film. And of course, because I want to get a sum, I include the replacement cost in a what? In a sum function. Sum replacement cost from film. So let's see if the decimal points are a bit large. Okay. It's quite okay. It's quite okay. It's just 0.00. Let's not say sum. Let's say, should we say min? No, it shall be okay. But in this case, we can still do something actually. We can do something actually. What we can do is, I mean, it's not 19,984, and there's no decimal point. Like this is 0.00. In this our situation, like there's
Excuse
the
me,
point
excuse
zero
me.
zero. Go ahead, go ahead.
I don't understand what you are doing from the round 3.99. Like you already have a figure that you want to round off, right?
That around 3.9, I just made up a random figure.
It's not a code like you ran it.
So let me show you something. I don't think we have probably talked about like so far. So what we've been querying is I've actually been querying data like that exists within a table. So you can literally also, it's just like having an Excel file and you have data and you say, okay, let's get the sum of you have data in column A, column B, column C. Let's get the sum of everything like you're using where there's data. But in Excel, you can also go to any random column and just say equals to sum and just say 12 and comma 3 or something. You can just say equals to, I don't know. You can just say yeah, you can just say equals to something 2 times 5 in Excel and you get an answer. So you don't necessarily need to reference where there's data, you can still just randomly try things out. What do I mean? So for example, yeah, so this is just this thing I was talking about here is just a random example. So let me show you my other example. This is random example. My other example now that I think will make more sense is that what if I say, okay, select what? So let's say select name, and I call name literally from film. What's gonna happen? You're gonna have a column with just name. Basically, I don't know if you are getting what's going on. Name does not exist, of course. Name is basically a text. But since I put a text in the select statement where there's supposed to be, like I'm supposed to be referencing a column, it basically created a column with name, like with that text I put just appearing everywhere. So if I say, okay, select name, then no, let's say select Egosa, comma, Glory, Charles. What's going to happen? I said from film. So like if you actually check the film table, if I say check select all from film, and I say, okay, what's going on in the film table? I don't know if you can see how many rows is it showing that we have in the film table. We go all the way down here. I don't know how many rows you can see it has 1,000 rows. Can we hear me, please? Sorry. Can we hear me? I'm very sorry. Don't know if you can hear me. I need to do something about this. I don't I need to do something about this.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if others are hearing you, but I can hear you now.
So Glory, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so before this nonsense from my end happened, I think I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, so I was trying to explain that when you say when you say select all from film, you notice if you look all the way down, select all from film. So what's actually going on, just for it, so you know, the film table, if you scroll all the way down and just look all the way here, see that the film table basically has 1,000 rows. Yeah. So if I say select Egbo, Saglory, and Charles, that there's no column called Egbo, Saglory, and Charles, mind you. There's no column called that from film. It's going to basically create 3 columns temporarily just within this query statement. Like this select, like the normal select statement is supposed to be us referencing columns in our data or in our table, right? So it's going to create 3 columns, Egusa, Charles, Egusa, Glory, and Charles in the film table temporarily. Like it's going to just bring us, and you're going to see the rows, total rows is going to be the number of rows the table has, the film table has. So you're going to see Egusa, you're going to see Glory, you're going to see Charles, just 3 tables populated with just all these things. So that's actually God, very sorry. My okay, so what I was saying, sorry, is that it's going to create, this is going to create 3 columns, Egosa, Glory, and Charles, right? And you can see what's going on within these 3 columns. Like literally, it's going to populate it with what I put there, Egosa, Glory, and Charles.
Excuse me, why is it populating a
Right.
date? We don't have that data there.
The thing is that, first of all, if you remember, the select statement references columns, right? So this is also temporarily, just in case. This is just happening in this query. And now I'm saying, okay, from I'm looking, I want to look at the film table. SQL understands that. I want to select Glory, Charles, and this and Gosa. And you can see, this Glory, Charles, and Gosa are all text. You can see, I didn't say, if I say Glory, if I say Gosa, Glory, and Charles like this, if I just say Gosa, for example, and let me comment Glory and Charles, it's going to give me an error because the column Egosa does not exist. You can see the error is giving me. The column Egosa does not exist, and it literally does not exist. Right? So the only reason why it's going to give me this result, which is this duplicate stuff Egosa, Glory, and Charles, because I said, okay, these are text, right? I put text in the select statement, which is supposed to be for columns. And of course, since I didn't say it's a column, like it literally just converted the text to columns showing this text. And it's going to be as long as the film table is. The film table is actually 1,000 rows. So this is going to be giving us this answer as long as 1,000 rows. This sounds confusing, but it shouldn't be. It's not really confusing. So Egosa Glory. So you can try it out on your system. Like you can literally put anything. You can put any text here in the select statement. And since you specify the text, if you just put something random like Rex, this random thing that I'm saying, I'm saying Rex is basically saying, oh, I want to see the column Rex. It doesn't exist. I'll say you receive an error. So you will see it. Rex doesn't exist. Column Rex doesn't exist. But when I specifically say, oh, this is just a text Rex, actually I'll be like, no problem. Now, if you want to see a text as long as 1,000 rows or as long as the data in the film table is, I can show you the text. I can repeat it for you. There's no issue. There's no problem. And that's what SQL does. It repeats Rex, 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 Rex multiple times. It populates an entire column with the text Rex. So that's what's going on here when I say select round 2 from film. Basically, they're like rounding 3.98889. It's around 3.98899 to 2 decimal places. And of course, because I specify, and like this, I'm not calling what's going on, I'm not calling a column that exists. Yeah. So because I'm just calling a numeric value and whatever from I'm saying from the film. Of course, it doesn't exist, but like now, it just allows the numbers to be populated temporarily. It's not really even temporarily. This is just within our query. This is not stored anywhere as a procedure or anything like that. This just shows us the result within our query. Within our query. So I don't know if I was able to explain it a bit better, Glory.
Yeah.
So
If you're
thank you.
not
Thank
calling some a column that is not there, it will auto-populate automatically because it's like you're telling it to create.
yeah, something like that. Something like that. So we're good. We're good. So we're actually trying to look at the questions here in aggregate functions. Right. So in this one now, this is the count. But let me show us the count in action also. For example, before we answer these questions, so I want to just show us many examples that will start answering the questions that we created. So looking at the count, if I say select count, so I want to see how many rows are going on in the rental table, for example. So it's also the same count in SQL in Excel count. Open your bracket. What do you want to count? In our case, I want to count rental rates. Count rental rates from where? From the film table. So this will be 1,000. I'm not, and remember what the count does. The count just counts every instance of something. It's not like saying some rental rates. It's not like saying, what's the word? Average, get me the average, get me the mean, get me the max. Literally, the answer is 1,000. Because like it counts every row that we have rental rates, and we have 1,000 rows with rental rates in it. So this count rental rate now at this point, in a way, if I say count title, it will still work. I might say by what I mean by it still works is still going to give us 1,000 because we have 1,000 film titles. So if I say like I can literally say anything in this kind of situation, and because there are no blanks in the columns, that we have no columns with blanks in our or any files for now or within this film table, it's literally any if I count from anywhere, it's going to give me the same thing. It's almost like in Excel. It's almost like in Excel. If you don't have any this thing, it works the same way basically, the count function. So in my situation, I could also even say count all. So we know select all. What of count all? What does count all do? So count all. We know the select all. What does count all do? Let's see what it does. So select count all from title. There's a high chance it's going to give us 1,000. Or you can quote me on that, and it will. It counts all the columns. It counts all the columns. All the columns. So if you say select all, what does it do? First of all, select all from film. Let's look at it to make this more understandable for us. Select all from film or from film. This is basically going to give us everything in the film table. Yeah, it's different between select all and count all, at least in my opinion. I don't know why it's taking time. Yeah, so 1,000 rows of 1,000 rows. Basically, it's counting every row instance. So row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. That's what it selects. The count all does. It counts every row instance. It counts every row instance. So it's also like count, so the same thing. But we can use this knowledge we have on like working with the aggregate function in Excel, if I say in Excel, in SQL, to actually answer or solve some more complex questions. So let's increase the difficulty just a little bit by answering the questions we have in here. So we're going to increase the difficulty just a wee bit. Just a wee bit. And now the question here we're going to answer together. But I don't know if anybody's behind or anybody's lost. Feel free to signify so that we can try to find you before it's too late. Okay. In the absence of the question, let's continue what we're trying to do. So we want to count the active customers. I already told us what we want to do basically. I've given us an expo of the function we're going to use. Yeah, and that's the count. Basically an expo already. So things are going to be a bit more easier. So the thing we're saying there is, okay, count active customers. I'm sure I'm not the only one saying it. Count active customers, count active customers. Okay, that's 21. That's 21. So I'll put it together. Let's see how we're going to do it together. Right? So somebody mentioning me in the chat. Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so is anybody trying to join the class? Okay, I'm not seeing anything yet. I thought I saw something in group chat. So yeah, let's do this. So select. Okay, let me copy the question. Sorry. How many customers are active? Copy and let's paste. So let's answer it from here. So I'm not going back and forth. We just had the question here. How many customers are active? So select. So just like what I just did there just now, I'm going to use the select count all to answer this, but I'm going to tweak it a bit. Select customer, select count all from customer. So this is actually not film, sorry. We're looking at the customer. We want to see what's going on within the customer's information. We want to see the customer information. And if you remember, if we look all the way in our schemas, we actually have, just like we have the film table talking about what's going on with the films, we actually have the customer table. So I can say select count all from customers. So this will actually show me the rows in the customers table. And let's even, while this is going on, that's 599 rows. While this is going on, let's bring our select all too, because we're going to be using this to decipher our questions a bit more better. Select all from film. So sorry, from customer. Apologies. Select count all, select all from customer, select all from customer. Yeah. So select all from customer, select all from customer. So in our situation, we need to actually understand this question just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We have active customers. We have active equals to 1. And basically, that's true, like 1 and 0. In binary, in terms of binary format, like you can see active bool, active integer. Basically, if it's true, it's 1. And if the customers are not active, it will be false, which will be 0. So if we can actually use this active column to look at it. So I don't know if you can see anything called anything 0. Yeah, if I move just a little bit slowly sometimes, you can see 0. So it's either true or it's false. Wherever you see false, it's going to be 0. Wherever you see true, it's going to be 1. So we have more active customers. But as I'm going through this a bit fast, probably not the way forward. When I'm going through this, you can see more trues than false. So we can assume that we have more active customers than inactive customers. But let's still look at it, right? Remember, we want to see how many customers are currently active. So select out all from customers is going to show us everything. Now data, oh, we have 599 rules, which is interesting. But we're not done. We could actually apply a filter to this.
Excuse
Remember,
me.
go ahead.
Select count all from customers. Is it the same select from customers? Or why is
So,
this one showing 599?
okay, no problem. For if I say select count and let's say let me look at this again. Select count store ID or customer ID from customers. Do you understand what what that does? Select count customer ID. I want to ask first of all, do you understand what this query does? Do you understand what this query does? Are that there? Are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm asking if you understand what this query does.
It has strengthened the number of IDs.
Yeah, it counts the number of IDs. And we know that if we just say select one column, it's just going to show us one column. Select customer ID is just going to show me select a customer ID column, right? If I say select star from customer, that means I want to see everything that's going on in the customer, right? The counts all there basically almost works like the count star basically almost works as like the select star, like just without the count. But in this kind of case now, instead of just we're counting everything in customer ID table, like right? So instead of just counting everything through the customer ID table, we're counting everything through the general rule instance, like saying if you say select all now from customer, we have all the columns, all the this thing. So if I say select count all, so I'm counting every instance of a row within the customer database. I'm
So
counting
what's the
every
difference
instance.
between the 599 and the 1000?
In the 1000, 1000, wait,
There's
there's no one.
there's one that was giving us 1000, right?
You know, that one we're looking at the film table. Remember, we have different tables in our database.
Thank you. Sorry, I never knew that. Sorry.
Now you know.
I'll not put it in mind. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. So yeah, that was the film table. This is the customer table. So, but we're not done. Remember, we're trying to answer the question: how many customers are currently active? That's the question we're trying to answer. If you remember. So let's tweak this a bit more to get the full answer. So we're not done. This is basically how many customers basically do we have in our data in our table. We have 599 customers from our table, customer table. But we're not done yet. We want to filter this now a bit more by the active customers. And if you remember, when we look through this table, we saw that, oh, when the customer, you see active equals to 1, you see active 1 or active 0. So 1 means true, that, okay, the customers are active, and 0 means false. That's what we came to notice just by looping through or just seeing what's going on in our customer table data that we have. So in this case, let count from customers is good, but this counts everything. And there's no criteria. I just want to see everything in the customer table. We are not specifying any criteria here. So I could decide to specify a criteria. I could decide to say where, because in our situation, once the one customer they're currently active. And remember, active equals to 1, that means they're active. That's true. So I can say where active equals to, so this one is very easy for us, 1. So basically, this count is going to count everything based on if it checks the active column, it sees 1. That basically means a customer is active. So we have 584 active customers. Ask me questions. Okay. In the current absence of no question, I will assume we get this. We get the filter part at least, where something that one is quite straightforward for us. We get the from customer. I mean, you always have to reference the table you're looking at in your database. And we get the count. When you combine them together, you have the counting all customers based on whether or not they are active. So you can just spin this up a little bit and say, okay, just change the question slightly. I mean, it's going to give us almost the same query, but different answer. So how many customers are currently inactive? So if you say active equals to 0, which is active customers, we'll probably have 599 minus 584. That is around, I've forgotten how to do math. That's around how many? That's around, is it 13? 15, okay, 15. We have 15 currently inactive customers. We have 15 currently inactive customers, and we have 584 customers, active customers. Interesting, right? Interesting, right? So let's continue. Let's try to answer the next one. It asks us count the movies. How many movies are there in total in the film table? So this is a bit easier from the first one. It's a bit easier from the first one. So I want to see how many movies are in the film table. This one, I think someone can direct me on this. I think we literally answered this question before. We counted that. This is basically the answer. We could use this, or we could use the count all. But preferably use, since they specified movies, let's just count from the movies table. So, but let me just copy and paste this and have it under there. We have already answered this question. We have already answered this question. We have already answered this question. How many movies are there in total in the film table? We have already answered this. So I didn't even think we had something like that before. But we have answered this, and it's quite straightforward. It's quite straightforward. We have 500, oh yeah, 1,000 movies. Quite forget. 1,000 movies. So Glory, this was one that you put in your mind to. Was one you put in your mind to. So let's see what's going on. Average rental rate of all the movies. Wow. Are you sure we haven't done this? So this one, I would sit back, relax, and Papa Charlie, you could share a screen on this. Let's see. Let's see how you answer this. So I'll leave the sharing of screen to you, Papa Charlie.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, I thought I'll be saying it and you'll be writing the code. I should share my screen.
Just share your screen. Let's see you do. Let's see you do. Let's switch it up today.
Okay. The question again, sir. Sorry. What the- Hello, sir.
Sorry,
Hello.
sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. I was saying like what the question was, find the average rental rates of all the movies.
Okay.
We're waiting a bit.
I'm running the query from the wrong distance
Database.
database. Yeah.
Or maybe can tell you you write, sir, kindly.
Okay, no problem. Since Glory said that, I forgot I was recording the call. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay, Glory, you can tell me. Let me write.
For me, I think it's select average rental rate from film.
So who is
Right?
writing me, or is it Papa Charlie?
I've heard him say I take over, I don't know.
You want to take over? You can take over.
Or what? I haven't like he has mentioned my name, but he can try anyway. I was
Please
just
try,
thinking
try it.
out. Okay, for me, I think it's select average rental rate.
Okay, select. Let me just do it. AVG rental rate. Yeah. Okay. From film. Yeah, that's it's straightforward. And exactly what we've done before. Looking at this again.
Yeah,
So I've
because I
already,
saw you on that.
yeah, I've already answered it. So yeah, I think I need to increase the difficulty of these questions. I can't be having create creating on the fly questions and saying that's the same thing. Okay. So how about if I want to do the total rental duration of all the movies. Can you assist?
Select sum.
Select star.
Sum.
Okay, sum.
Select sum.
Okay.
Rental rate.
Rental rate or rental
Rental
duration?
duration, sorry.
Rental duration from film. Straightforward, in it.
I think we need to do tough questions.
Tougher questions. Okay, so
Because this
before we
one is
start,
just
it's just straightforward. Well, it gets tougher. Fear not. I'm telling you, it gets tougher. It gets tougher. So I can make it tougher. Before we toughen it up a bit, before we toughen it up a bit, just a little bit, before we toughen it up a bit, let us look at I don't know if we've talked about the concept of aliases.
No, we've not.
Alias. Basically, something that we can call like another name we can give to something. But let's look at the concept of alias. It's very simple, very straight to the point. Very straight to the point. If I say select sum rental duration, you can see the answer 4985, but we're seeing the column called sum, like it doesn't make sense. Like we could change it to be a bit better. I can change it to something like if I say as times I want to change it to something, I want to rename the column name. I can say as total rental underscore duration. Doing like this makes it make a bit more sense. To select some rental duration as total rental duration. So the title, the heading here changes now. So instead of the sum stuff that I was doing, it shows oh total rental duration is this. So I can make this average rental rate. I can change it as average underscore rental underscore rates, for example. So changing like this makes everything a bit better and easier. And of course, this is looking somehow because of the decimal points. I could just say round. I could say let's get it to one decimal place. Or what if I want to do decimal place in the first place? So instead of normally if I say 1 or 2, that means I want 1 or 2 decimal place. If I say 0, I've actually rounded, removed decimal. So let's try it. So yes, it was 2.99 something something something. It converted it. It's basically like rounds it up literally. The nearest whole number.
excuse
You
me.
can see. Go ahead.
What's the importance of us?
Of what?
The as, the one you have introduced.
Yes, the as I said, is an alias. Like we want to change basically the column header, like within this query. Of course, we know how to, if you go back to the previous classes we did, we talked about different things that time. Changing column name, talking about changing table name, we talked about changing different things. We understand that one for that standpoint, those standpoints. Yeah. So, but like if within our query output, well, we want okay. Like now, is average rental rate. Why is it better than the one I was before? Literally, I'll just see just by the title, I know what's there. So this is not just a random figure. But I will just see sum of what. And if you get but this one before here, all the way before I put the alias, let's see if somebody looks at it around my query. Let's comment this out. Select some duration, like okay, rental duration, right? If you see the query, some like some of what, like what's actually going on there, you don't know. Like you have to look at the query to know. But to make it easier for you,
So it's
instead
like
of
renaming the column.
yes, renaming the column for that for the output. So within that query output, I just rename how the column appears within that query output. It's a temporal. It's just going to be within that query. It's not gonna if you say select all this thing, we don't see anything looking like a total array. It doesn't exist. But our query output, we could optimize it to just have something like this. So anybody that runs it, or the person may not have understanding of SQL, like any way we see that, oh, this is what we're trying to do. This is the operation we're trying to perform. Oh, it was a sum operation, a sum of what? Okay, rental duration. Okay, I understand. I don't know if that's looking crazy.
No, it's okay.
Okay, no problem. So, okay, I'll do min and max. You know what? I'll not even do that. I'll give you assignments. And your assignments will be so we've basically done all of this. Just do 25 and 26. I think that's quite easy though. But we'll be able to do that as assignments, or we can do it in classes if you like. So we have some additional questions. Some additional questions that we should look at. Some additional questions. I'm tempted to do 26. I don't know if I should fall into the temptation. Okay, let's do 26. Let's do 26. So I'll just give you 25 to do. This one is a bit, it's going to be easy though. But let's give us 25 as something to work with. So 26 now is going to be interesting. It's a bit more interesting. I wanted us to figure it out, but let's do it together. Let's do it together to minimize confusion so that when you see something close to it later, you won't complain. So I'm not going to multi-line comment. I'm just going to be lazy and just do this. So calculate the total potential revenue by multiplying the rental rates by the rental duration for all movies. So I can tell that this is going to be very easy. I know the code, I know the table I'm already referring to. In this situation, I'm already referring, well, what table I'm specifically referring to is the, what's it called? Is the film table, right? I'm specifically referring to the film table. And I say, oh, basically wants the revenue potential revenue by multiplying. So this thing has already told us what we need. So let's start. Select what? Multiplying rental rates multiplied by what? Rental duration. I'm not done with the select statements. Let me just say from film. But what I actually want here is not just looking at this question, calculate the total potential revenue by multiplying the rental rate by the rental duration for all movies. I actually just want a single output, basically. So I want, okay, the sum of rental rates actually multiplied by the sum of rental duration from film. That's what I want to get. So I won't just say rental rate and this. Let's see what I would give error or anything. You can see what happens here. We don't really get an error, but now we get like, okay, let's see as potential. We get the answer revenue.
But now you know right.
As potential revenue per transaction. Transact. So what's going on here, for us not to be confused, is we have, okay, let me also put rental rates. And so this is going to be a bit long, but it's nothing crazy. Rental rates, comma, rental duration. And I'll tell you why I would do the sum instead of just this, comma, this. So let me just put this in the next line to make it a bit more. So select rental rates, rental duration, rental rate times rental duration. So you can see 0.99 times 6 is 5.94. 4.33 times 14 times 3 is 14.97. This is basically 3 times 7. 2.99 times 7, so it's 20.93. So what's actually going on here is if we answer it like this, which is the first thing we did, just rental rate multiplied by so let me decomplicate it. So if we answer it the first way, which I said rental rates times rental duration, it's not going to give us the full answer because we want to get the total. The question was get the total potential revenue. And how did we want to, or do we want to achieve that? Want to do it like this? But remember, I want to get a total and select this, right? It doesn't give us total. It gives us the potential revenue per transaction. I don't know if you get. So me doing all this thing, I was looking long. It's giving me, oh, this time, so you can see per transaction, and potentially we get okay, if it's the rental rate is 2.99 and the rental duration is 7 per transaction, there's a chance of me getting, or I'm going to get 20.93, let's say it's dollars or whatever it is, for example. Yeah, so that's basically the same thing as here, but I now decided to show us, okay, we actually want to see the columns multiplying each other so we can confirm that this is what's going on. So why I said, if you remember, why I said this is not the answer is because we total potential revenue. So we don't want to get it per transaction. We want to get it per like the whole entire transaction that we have, the whole entire like rental rates and the rental duration and everything. We want to get the whole figure. We want to get the figure per transaction. I don't know if you get, or per rental. I don't know if that sounds confusing. But to decomplicate it, let's just show you. What I'll just do is literally say the sum of rental rates times rental duration. So instead of potential revenue per transact, I'll just say potential revenue. And that's my answer. So sum, so this is real answer. So I say answer. Sum of rental rate multiplied by sum of rental duration times potential revenue. And you will get our total potential revenue, which is 149, no, 14,915, let's say dollars. Rich man. That's my potential revenue. Ask questions if you're confused. Feel free. I'm beginning to enter dangerous territory, but don't be scared. It's not really dangerous.
This is like some product, right?
This is like in Power BI when you're working with some X. This is basically some X in Power BI. You know, some X in Power BI. I don't, this is not Power BI. I don't know if you can remember. Some X now
Yeah, I
literally gives us
understand.
the ability to specify how the sum is going to work. If you say some X, basically is an iterator function, right? It tells us, oh, we're basically customizing how the sum works. This is what we're doing. Customizing the sum by saying, okay, sum will be sum of rental rate, and I don't know if you get. This is
Yeah,
basically,
I understand, I understand.
yeah,
It goes across the rows, then after that it does the summation.
yes. So that's what it does. That's what it does. I don't know if you can see that it's not complex. It just looks long, especially this one. Just looks long. Oh, what's going on? We even broke it down, but nothing crazy, like overly crazy is going on. So this is what we just did. Okay. Oh no, that's that. This is what we just did. Potential revenue. So let's try to answer number 27, shall we? I get into nice territory. But number 27 is too easy. So I would say someone should guide me on answer number 27. What is the latest rental date in the rental table? I will need someone's guidance. What is the latest rental date in the rental table? I want to know. We want to know. Latest rental date on the rental table. Any ideas? Okay, so let's work with this together. So we have something called rent, a table actually called rental, right? So let's do select all from rental. Let's see what's going on in the rental table. Let's do this together. Select all from rental. When we run it, we see rental dates, inventory, we see different things going on. It's a very short table, nothing much, nothing crazy is going on there. Very short table, nothing crazy is going on. Rental dates, nothing crazy is going on. So we basically we're interested in where rental dates, basically, right? So what if we say select rental date from rental, but we're not stopping there. Select rental. So as you can see, we're just interested in rental date in the rental table. That's basically from rental. From rental. Select rental date from rental. Then rental date to rental. But we're not done. We want the latest rental dates, right? What if we try select max rental date? What if we try select max rental date? I'm interested. Let's select max rental date. So what is it going to output? Is it going to give us just one thing? Oh, you can see the highest rental date is 2020. Specifically, January, no, February 14th. No, February 14th. We're gonna Valentine's Day. I don't know again. I've been out of relationship for a long time. Yeah, so February 14th is Valentine's Day, basically. Yeah, so the last time someone, or the most recent rental, or let's say, yeah, because this shop probably has closed down because nobody buys this again. But last time somebody purchased the DVD from the store, like when the store was still open, was February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2020. I'm
Mr.
luckily, yeah,
Yeah, because my work just wanted to share
go ahead.
because I was thinking we'll use select rental date from rental, then order by, not order by descending, order return rental date descending. I think we should be, I hope.
Yes, that should work also.
Oh, okay.
That would work also. I like the fact that you're able to do that. So we could do it that way and limit one. Limit one. Normally, if you say limit five, well, that's top five. If you say limit one now, that will order by descending. It should give us the same output. So let's run this together. So select. So I like the fact that we are actually thinking about all of these things. So I'm not just because sometimes yeah, I'm not just writing this and doing things down. They actually you guys are actually trying things out. So select rental dates right from rental order by. So this was your idea, right? Order by rental dates des DESC, right? DSC. Then let's say limit one. So it's going to give us the top one, or just one output. Same thing. I don't know if you can see.
Yes, I
Glory, Glory, do you understand? Glory, do you understand? Are you there, Glory? Okay, I'm seeing the chat. Trying to get it. Don't worry. You get it. You get it. It's SQL for the most part. I mean, it looks like English, but in a way, it's just once you get once you just keep doing it small, and you're getting it a little,
But I see
little.
they're bringing the same answer, right?
Yeah,
Order by limit by one.
yeah. Limit by one now is basically the top one. Basically, if I say limit five, that's going to give me the top five based on this answer, based on this select from order by latest. So we'll see the last 5 days or the last 5 days. So all of them were still within the same all the rental purchases were within the same day, which you can see. So, but let's say limit one to give us like the actual last thing that was purchased in the store, or the actual last date something was purchased in store. So it just depends on whatever approach you want to take. At least in this situation and minimal. Especially when you start getting to things like joins. When you start getting things like joins in SQL, you discover that it's all building up your, like I say, logical thinking side of things, like thinking of it in the logical perspective. It's just like it's almost like that time when you're doing alter table, and once you saw a few examples, you're able to guess. I don't know. I think it was you, Glory. You're able to guess this is how it's going to be. Okay. I was like, what do you think we'll do? And you were able to guess accurately, like 98% or is it 90% of the time, you're able to guess it accurately. Once you see the general structure of things, or once you just kind of just get a little bit like the build up of things, you'll be able to see their patterns and their ways to work around some type of patterns or ways to try around some pattern. Like it's just very interesting. I don't know if you're there with us, Glory.
Yes, yes, yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, if you say so. If you say so. So you are with us, so that's very good. Thank you very much. So we shall continue. We shall continue. What question do we have again? Unique years. Retrieve. Oh, this is another interesting one. This is a very interesting one. We need to cover this. Oh, I'm going to cover this. We need to cover this. I'm going to cover this. What am I talking about? Another important, right? I won't say it's really an aggregate function. In its normal sense, the normal sense. It's called the distinct. In normal sense, not really, but it moves through you can call it an aggregate function too, because like it moves through the columns and just gives you unique items. So what am I talking about? Let's not get confusing. Let us look at the customer table. I think the customer table will be a good fit for this. And then let's look at the customer table. Let's see what's going on in the customer with the customers. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's see what's going on with the customers. Select all from customer. So I'll say distinct using the distinct. Select all from customer. Should there do something good? Yes, interesting. Interesting. And instead of select all from customer, let me do something that you directly see the difference or what this thing does. So if I say select and if you look at the active bool, remember it's 1 and 0, or like active 1 is basically in Boolean format, that's true. 1 is true, 0 is false. If I say select distinct what? Active bool, for example, and I say from customer, I don't know if you can guess that the answer is going to be true and false. So 1 true, 1 false. It's supposed to be true and false. Let me look at this again. Is everything true? Everything is not true. Everything is not true. Everything is not true. Everything is not true. This is supposed to give. I said maybe there's something going on there, but let's look at active. Let's look at active. Actually, 1 and 0. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I think something is going on in that active row column. But yeah, active is either 1 or is either 0. And you can see we have several, like the customers table. We have about 599 rows. And within these 599 rows of data, whether they're active or not fall into two categories. 1 for true, they're active, and 0 for false, they're active, they're inactive, or yeah, false, they're active. So they are either active or inactive. When I say I want to see distinct active from customer, so I either get zeros and 1 or 1 and 0. So because we know that within the customer database, it's going to be either 1 or 0. So these are the distinct values of active we have in the customer table. I don't know if that sounds a bit confusing. We can look at something a bit different. But yeah, I wanted us to do that one because we can just see the direct comparison between 1 and 0. 1 and 0. Either 1 or 0. Either 1 or 0. It can be in several instances. It can be several customers. It can be like talking about several customers that data like, are they active and they inactive? But we know it's either 1 or it's either 0. So you can directly see the what's it called, the use of this thing. This thing gives us unique values of items. So it's just the unique values of items. So if I say I can also play around and let's look at the distinct first names. So it might be possible, there's a possibility in this our database that first names, I mean, my first name can be what's it called? Egosa, and my last name is Usayame, for example. And somebody else's first name can be Egosa also. But his last name is not Usayame. It can be Iyari, it can be Yari, it can be Yari, it can be Ogosa, it can be something else. So let's look at, okay, let's only see the distinct instances or the unique instances of the first name. If I say distinct first underscore name, and I specify where it's from, of course, which is the from customer. Let's see if the number of rows reduces. If it doesn't reduce, it means like each first name is unique. So 599, we're seeing 59 out of 599 first. So we say select all from customers. So if we run this, oh, we see 591 out of 591. It means out of 599 customers, only 591 unique names exist. Unique first name specifically. So basically, this distinct function, all in the select, is applied to the first name, and we see only unique instances of the first name. So we have Randall, we have Peter, we have Allen. We're not going to see duplicate instances of any name within this column because set row, we want to see the unique, we want to see the distinct. I don't know if that sounds crazy. So we could also try this for, let's see the distinct last names also. Let's see the unique last names that we have in our database or in our table, specifically our customer table. So I can say last name. So let's go in on what's going on in our last name. Select last name, distinct last name from customer. Let's see if we have what we have out of 599. So each last name basically is unique. We're seeing 599 out of 599, just like when we see select all from customer. Basically, everybody has different last names, but not everybody has different or well, not everybody has different first names. Because we saw 591 out of 591, meaning that that's minus 8. There are 8 or at least maybe it can be more than 8. It can be, I mean it can be like 2 or 3 duplicates appearing, like let's say you have, but basically let me not explain this a bit to be complex. We basically have 591 unique instances of first names appear in our data. So we have 591 unique first name. Why the many remainder can be duplicates, basically, because the distinct shows us the unique instances of something. So far so good. We could also apply the distinct to multiple items. So this is applying. So applying distinct to single items. What if we want to apply the distinct to multiple items? It's very straightforward. So I want to get the distinct first and last names, for example. I say, oh, get the unique, just confuse you. So I don't necessarily say the distinct. Unique first and last names per customer. I can go ahead and do this easily. I can just literally say select. So I'll just go and copy this. Say first and last name. Select distinct first name, and that's first underscore name, comma, last underscore name from customer. Basically, this distinct function is applied to both of them, the first and the last name. So if I run this now, because normally it's only one thing we'll be doing as apply to one, now it apply to both of them. If I run this now, the first name and last name are going to be unique instances throughout. Like the combination of the first and the last name are going to be unique instances. And it makes sense. It makes sense because like now, like there's like basically in our database, we have like, although there might be places which we did, we try it out, might be places in the first names where there are duplicate instances, like then like not everything is unique. That's we'll just have 591 unique items there in the first name. When the first name and last name is combined together, and we add these things, when we use the first name and last the combined instances of the first and last names are all unique. I don't know if we get, or this is looking how it might be looking. Go ahead and ask questions if you're confused. I don't know if we are together or I'm alone or is anybody with me. What's going on?
I'm with you, sir.
You're together.
No problem. So it's quite straightforward. It's quite straightforward. I'm sure that's what we're noticing or we're seeing from
But
the quiz we're
excuse me,
writing. Yeah.
in short, the distinct first name, last name is just giving. It's like removing duplicates.
Yes, basically. Yeah. Not. Yes. Really showing the unique
Not that
items
it
here.
will filter first name first, then go to the last names.
No, no. It removes duplicate for both of them combined. The combined instances. So I can have basically what this does is that in my first name I can have Jonathan, and last name is Scarberg. In this second one, I can also have Jonathan, but I must have a different last name. So the combined instances are all different. The combination of the first and the last names are all different. I don't know if that sounds
It's okay.
okay, no problem. So let's see if we can answer the next question. So receive, okay, I'm not going to answer this. How many inactive customers? I'm not going to answer this, so I'll leave this one for us. Retrieve all unique movie durations. I am not going to answer this. I'll also leave this one for us. Retrieve all the unique. So I think this one is quite. This one's in blue. I quite. Oh, let's do this. Let's do. Let's help some. Let somebody help me out with number 30. So I'm just going to copy and paste into what's called Postgres or pgadmin, and I would like someone's assistance on this easy question. Retrieve all unique instances, unique movie durations from the film table. So I need any direction from someone. Please feel free.
Select distinct.
Okay. Select distinct.
Is it duration? I don't know the column name, but rental
Okay,
duration.
so let's rental duration. Yes, it's rental duration, yes. If you remember, it's film table. Film table is that, at least that specific table. We should be a bit more comfortable with it because I've mentioned this several times. That's from film.
From custom from film.
Yeah, from the film. So it's straightforward. So we just have 5 distinct rental durations. And in this case, I could also decide to play about it in an order as in descending order by.
Mr. Gosa,
Yeah.
I noticed something when you did the sum, you used when you did the select sum,
Okay.
you what's it called? Brackets. You opened and closed bracket, but in this distinct, you're not opening and closing bracket. Is it that there are certain functions that needs open and close bracket, and there are some that don't need that?
Okay. The reason is just because you can decide to do that for this. But I think that the reason why I did not do this is because distinct in Postgres or in PGMA works a bit different from distinct in other SQL or something. So I can, like in this one now, I just select distinct active customer, no customer. I put the active there. Yeah. Even without, at least for this one, even without me putting the brackets, it will still give me the correct output. So I just say distinct active, it will give me the correct output. The same first name, it's going to give me the correct output. With the distinct, I don't need to quote things in brackets. I'm literally free to write it however, like without brackets in distinct. I'm free to do that. But I have a question about that I want to address to us, but let's probably I'll write it in the chat. Probably. I have a question about these things. I want us to figure out or confirm. Or maybe I'll write in the chat. I'll probably do that. I'll probably do that. So I've been able to, I don't know if that answered the question. I know that was a bit distant, but I was able to, I think I've been able to answer a question that, yeah, I've been able to get the question that Glory answered, and his answer is basically correct. 100% correct, 100% accurate. So yes, so far so good. We have been moving on a steady pace. So we just have a few things that we will need to cover ourselves here. And we'll, let me concentrate on this. We do have some new questions. We do have some questions for us to dissect. So hopefully, we do have some questions for us to dissect. So that's not all. We have some continued, but I think the questions are going to be all easy. So sorting with order by we have done this. Aggregate function. So yeah, what I want to do is okay. How about someone help me out with entry number 8? I think that will be quite easy too. I think number 8 will be easy. So let me write it down here. I think we can easily assist me to do this one. It's going to give us no qualms, no issue. Determine the total rental duration for all, basically the same thing for all movies with a rating. So how am I going to do that? Any ideas, any comments, any, what's the word?
We shall use some.
Okay. Total, that's very correct to say some. Okay. What next?
Where rating is PG-13.
Okay. So it's very direct. Very direct. We'll soon get to very indirect questions. Look, there's an indirect question very soon. So let's see. So we have a total of 1,127 as a rental duration, probably days rented, that days rented for the movies or with rating PG-13. So it's quite simplistic. I think it's too easy. If we have done this, this number 9. Should we look at number 9? I don't think we have looked at the rental, the language table before. What do you think? Let's actually see what's going on in the language. But I think this one will be too easy. So I'll basically like almost the same thing just now. So this one will be for our take home. Before our take home, it's part of take home stuff. Our take home assignments. I'll give us that one as a take home assignment. So yes, so far so good. So far so good. So far so good. So far so good. We have been moving at a good pace. And that duration greater than 5. I think we'll be easily able to answer all of this. So I'll turn this in blue. I hope this is not so much I'm preparing already for us. But yes. Even the logical operators retrieve the title of movies released after 2020 with a rental rate greater. So I'm thinking that question says here. I mean, I don't know about me, about you, from Charlie, but I'm sure about Gloria, I'm sure about you too. But just by looking at these questions, you can already see the answers, like how to write the answer or how to go about creating the database to get the answer. But the one we can look at, logical operators. I mean, I don't want to look at all this because I think it's quite easy. This one, retrieve title of movie, retrieve title from film, where release year greater than 2020, and rental rates. You can see the answer. I don't know if you can see it for me. Like, I'm not writing it down, but just by looking at the question, I'm directly able to At least these logical operators. I'm not saying this because of anything. I'm saying this because we have covered it in class, covered how to go about it. Or am I on? Am I alone here? Or are we on the same page? I want to know.
Pardon?
Like this logical operators question 13. I'm saying that this looks like something that you will be able to easily answer.
Okay.
You want to attempt it just as a refresher?
Okay.
So because it's too easy, okay, nothing too easy, but I think this should be very easy for us. And I'll give this far also. It's just these are a bit new questions. I also have formulated a lot of questions for this database. There's a lot of questions we can answer just by looping through because we have several tables, there's several questions, and we can make them as complicated as possible. So we'll try to increase the difficulty in our next class, just by little. I'm finding the difficulty now a bit easy. So let's make it a bit hard. And yeah, that will help us to polish our. That's what's going to polish our SQL skills. Complex queries, complex queries. So let's do number 17. Number 17 is the only one that stands out here for me. Number 17 is the only one that stands out here for me, and I'll tell you why. The reason why number 17 stands out here for me is because I'm going to be doing something a bit different. Like I'm going to be like, oh, see, this having a last name starting with S and an active. So we are trying to like use we're not this is normal filter stuff. I've been saying, oh, where last name. I can't say where last name because of S. So this is what we call we're entering this next thing here called pattern matching with like. Pattern matching with like. So let's answer this question. This question is not a normal question. This should be within the pattern matching, but anyhow, let's still try to answer it. So this is actually entering the domain of pattern matching, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Our next class will continue from here, but let's answer this question. So find customers who are the last name starting from S and an active. That and an active part should be able to get that part easily, but starting from S. So let me answer the question. So select, so very easy too. Very easy. I want to see everything as easy. There's nothing hard except we make it hard. Select one last name starting from S, right? Last name, basically from film. Sorry, customer. We get that part. We get that part. So what we're going to do now is where last name. So this is going to be very interesting. Last name like. This is new territory. New territory, brand new territory. Where last name like, because it said one last name. So if I say select all from select this from customer, I mean you can see what's going on the last name in the customer table. But now it's now saying, okay, we want this last name to start with S. How are we going to answer that kind of question? How are we going to bring a query, write a query that's going to output the right answer for us? We'll use the like because it says starting from S. So what does this mean? What's actually going on here? So there are basically there are basically ways to what I say filter through a text in a way. Like we can these are basically ways, this like method you're seeing me right, or this like query or syntax you're seeing me right, is a way that I can, match patterns in text. Okay, I want to see all the first name that start with E. I want to see all the last names that start with E. I want to see all the first names that end with an S. I want to see all the last names that ends with an A. There are different ways I could use this. Like okay, I want to see what's down with a certain number. I want to see what ends with a certain number. I want to check for if within my last name column I have something with A, B, C inside. There are different ways. We're going to explore these different multiple ways in our next class. That will be the first thing we're going to do. We'll break it down a bit more, but let me show you how I answer this question basically, right? I want the last name to start with S. So I'm going to combine, so S is the syntax, right? S is the text something, right? So like S, there's going to be S within the text. So normally this looks like, I mean, just like X, right? We're still on the like this thing, but basically what we're going to do to make this a bit complete is put a percentage. What does this mean? If I say like S, like, okay, this is an apostrophe S and I put percentage. Let's ignore this apostrophe, for example, for the moment. If I say S and percentage, but let's not ignore the apostrophe. If I say S and percentage, meaning that I want it to start with S and the percentage means everything else. For example, if I say a last name like S, all the last names that's going to output are the ones that start with S and anything else can be thereafter. So Smith, Scott, Stewart, whatever starts with S and anything can be thereafter. If I say ST, it start with ST and anything can be thereafter. So I'm filtering it more a bit. So I'm saying, okay, I don't want just like S, I want ST. So we'll just have 90 and start with ST. You can see ST and percentage, meaning anything can be there after ST. Meaning anything can be there after ST. If I say, for example, if I say like percentage, that's starting with anything, be as much characters long and put S at the end. This is basically saying anything can be as much characters long, this percentage base anything basically. But the S ending there means it's going to end with a S. So if you say Williams, Jones, Davis, Thomas, that's my name, Harris, Lewis. So it starts with anything as long as, and the character's length can be as long as it wants to be, but it ends with an S at the end of the day. So this is just an introduction. We'll see other examples, but let's take this one for now. So start with, ends with. Start with percentage, meaning it can be as much characters long as I said before, and S there means it ends with S. So let's try to answer the question actually that we have. One
Excuse me.
Start with S.
What
Go
if you
ahead.
don't put the percentage?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What will
What do you
happen if
say?
you don't put the percentage? You just put S.
So there's nothing like S. But let's see. There's nothing like S. So this percentage is very important within the list. It basically tells us how the thing is going to be. So this is like S will make sense. I'll say equals to S, but equals to S will also not work. So basically, S and percentage starting with like basically S is the first thing you see for the percentage. Meaning that the first thing you're going to see that's going to be a last name, the first word or the first letter, and anyhow you want to say it's going to be S, and percentage anything else. It can be as long as it wants to be, but the first thing is basically going to start with S. S percentage. If I say percentage at S, it can be as long as it wants to be, as much characters long, but the end thing is going to be S. So, I mean, the next thing to say who are active, now this one's very easy. Where this thing equals to S and active, and basically active equal to 1. Because remember, active customers will show 1, inactive customers show 0. So this is, I don't know about you, but this is quite interesting. I don't know if I'm on the same page or we are on the same page. Let me save this. Save file. Let's save as so this 25th December. So if I say December, November. At this time next month is gonna be Christmas. So I'll say 25th November queries. Queries. So this is where we are going to stop for now. Right? Well, I think so far so good, especially when it talks to like when it comes to working with aggregate functions within the select, we understand. Oh, easy or count this thing. So we are going to explore some other more complex examples eventually. Eventually, there are more complex examples, but the complex example that we'll cover will lead us to something we call group by lead us to something we call group by, which we don't have in place to start right now. So when we get to the group by, you see some combinations that make the queries a bit more complex with the group by. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. I think we have been getting it so far. I think we'll be getting it so far. Really appreciate. We at POSHEM appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we thank you guys because it's not easy. You are doing the deal of coming to better yourself, and we are here to make you SQL rock stars and be better in terms of data analysis and whatever thing you decide to pursue with us. So I say thank you very much on that behalf. So we will continue from here. I don't know if there's any question you can still ask. Let me not be as if we are trying to rush because it's already time. If any question so far? Okay, so we'll be continuing from here. We're going to continue from the pattern matching with the like. We'll explore other examples.
Mr. Williams. Hello,
Is it
Mr.
Nicole?
Williams. Sorry, Mr. Gosa.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it possible to get this video by tomorrow? Maybe by tomorrow afternoon. I think the earlier we get, I personally for me anyway, the earlier I get the video, the better for me. It helps me better look at it. Maybe even if when I get home in the evening, just 1 hour, 2 hours, and all that.
No problem. No problem. I'll communicate with MindMates to make it as ready as fast as possible. So let me stop recording.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. So thank you very much also. Thank you very much also. So I'll see you guys in the next class, God willing. So have a nice day. And yeah, let me quickly send the questions that we'll have to cover in the group chat before I forget. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Glory. Thank you, Williams. Thank you, Papa Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mr. Williams. Williams, Alpha.